Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sal Pitera channel. I wanted to make this quick video because with Hurricane Florence headed its way to the east coast of the United States and several other hurricanes coming right behind it, lots of people have been asking me about their cruise insurance and how that affects their cruise. Well, in this video, I'm going to answer some of the most asked questions regarding your cruise insurance and what you can expect if a hurricane were to affect your cruise in any way. And we'll be right back to tell you all about the answers right after this. Hey guys, welcome back. First, I want to say if you are in the path of Hurricane Florence, if you live down in the Carolinas or Southern Virginia and you were told to evacuate, I am praying by now that you have evacuated. If you haven't, if you've made the decision to stay, which I really hope you haven't, I only wish you the very best, and I'll definitely be keeping you in my thoughts and prayers. Now, we make these cruise videos, we make lots of fun videos to tell you about cruising, but it's events like this where we make videos for information. And if you want to stay a part of that information and you want to be notified when we put up these videos, please make sure you click that subscribe button down below, hit the little bell notification, because that's going to tell you when we put up the videos. And that way, when we give informational videos out like this, you'll make sure you get the latest information. Okay, so let's talk about cruise insurance. There's lots of questions, and unfortunately, most of the time you don't think about cruise insurance until after you already need it. If you haven't bought cruise insurance and there's no hurricane yet and you have a cruise coming up, I strongly recommend you get cruise insurance. I'll have a link to Insure My Trip down below. They have a great program where they will give you the prices of all the different carriers and tell you what each one's included. If you don't like that, go through your cruise line, find out, read the fine print, and please make sure you have cruise insurance or travel insurance. I cannot recommend it enough. So let's go through and answer those questions that people are asking. But first, I do need to let you know that I am not a licensed insurance agent. The information that I'm going to give you is based upon my own knowledge from the many cruises I've taken and from the many different cruise insurance policies that I've taken out. I've also researched this on the internet, but always check with your own insurance agent. Most insurances have a toll-free number that they're available 24 hours a day. So if you have to use your insurance or you're not sure if you have a specific coverage, pick up the phone, call the 800 number. Like I said, they're open 24 hours a day. The good insurance policies all have them, but I will give you all the basic information right now. So let's start with the first question. Okay, is it too late to buy travel insurance for your cruise? Well, really, that depends. If there's already a named storm on its way, what I mean by that is the National Weather Association has named a storm like Hurricane Florence or Hurricane Irma or whatever the name is. If there's a name attached to a storm, it's not too late to buy insurance, but the insurance is not going to cover you for anything related to that storm in any way whatsoever. Insurance is for unforeseen events. Once they put a name on it, it's a foreseen event and it will not cover you. Now, if you have a cruise coming up and there's no name stormed, especially if it's during hurricane season, go to Insure My Trip right now and buy that coverage, because you never know if that storm is going to come up and it will be too late. You can't purchase it once that storm comes up and have it cover your cruise. Okay, so there is a named storm and you have insurance. And for this purpose, we're going to say you purchased the insurance prior to it being a named storm. So you've been waiting for months for your cruise, you did the right thing, you bought cruise insurance. And you want to know now there's a massive hurricane coming and you want to cancel your cruise. Can you cancel and will your insurance cover it? In most cases, no, you can't. If the cruise line cancels it, then anything the cruise line doesn't refund, and I've never really seen a cruise line that hasn't refunded a cruise that they've canceled or given you a credit towards a future cruise. But if the cruise line cancels it and it's non-refundable, then yes, your travel insurance should cover it. Again, check your policy to make sure, but most travel insurances will cover it as long as the cruise lines cancel it. But no, you can't cancel it yourself and say, hey, I just don't want to go on this cruise any longer. The cruise line hasn't canceled it. If you cancel it, unless you bought the cancel for any reason portion of a cruise package, which a lot of insurances do have. It's called cancel for any reason. You have to purchase it in advance long before the hurricane comes about. Most policies make you buy that within 24 hours of your first deposit on the cruise. But if you purchase the cancel for any reason, then yes, you could potentially use that to cancel your cruise and check your policies to see how much they'll refund on your cruise. But no, you can't just cancel the cruise specifically because there's a hurricane and just say, I don't want to go on it, and expect that your carrier is going to give you a refund. What if the cruise line cancels your departure city? Now what I mean by that is, let's say you're sailing out of Miami and the cruise line is expecting a hurricane to be hitting Miami tomorrow. So they've changed all departures to Galveston. I've never seen a cruise line not offer a full refund if you can't get to Galveston. But let's, for argument's sake, say that they're not offering a refund. Most insurance policies are going to cover you for that. Again, you're going to want to call your insurance, double check your coverage because it may not be 100%, but most insurance carriers are going to cover that if the cruise doesn't offer you a refund. What if your flights are canceled going to a ship? So again, you're flying into Miami, they're expecting a storm, or there could be a storm somewhere else in the country that caused flights to get delayed or canceled, which is affecting your trip to Miami and your ability to get to your cruise. Most insurances for cruises have a trip delay policy. So if you're going to be delayed, it's usually 24 hours or more. They will cover you to get to the ship, or if you can't get there at all, they'll usually cover a refund on your cruise. Now that doesn't mean that you can just say, hey, I missed my flight, I'm just going to go home and expect they're going to refund me. That's not the case. Most insurances are going to require that you keep trying to enhance your voyage. Call the 800 number, ask them what they want you to do. Because if you just turn around and go home, most likely you're not going to get covered. What if the cruise line cancels your cruise? Now we talked about this a little bit beforehand. It's very rare that a cruise line will actually cancel a cruise, but it does happen. It could be that the ship can't get to a port because of the hurricane to pick people up for your cruise, and there's no other ports available for them to come to. Or the last cruise could have been stuck out at sea during a hurricane, and now they're not back in time to pick you up and they'll cancel your cruise. Most insurance companies are going to refund you and cover you as long as the cruise line doesn't offer you a refund. Now, if the cruise line offers you a refund, then you have to take the cruise line's refund. But if the cruise line doesn't offer you a refund, which frankly I've never seen, if they don't offer you a refund, you should be covered. Okay, this is a big one I get asked a lot. What if the cruise line cancels your port of call? This is happening right now with the current hurricane. Lots of ships from up north can't get down to the Caribbean because they would have to sail directly through the storm. There are cruise ships that are sailing out of Baltimore that were supposed to go to the Caribbean that are now going to Nova Scotia, Canada. And people are upset because this isn't the cruise that they purchased. Well, in your purchase ticket agreement with the cruise line, they have the right to cancel any ports of call or change any ports of call without refund. Generally, they will give you the money back for your port charges if they just cancel a port and don't reschedule it. But they're not going to give you a refund on the whole cruise, and typically the cruise line is not going to cancel the cruise. They'll just reschedule the ports of call. Now, there are very specific insurance policies that if the ports of call are changed prior to the sailing, they will compensate you some for those missed ports of call. But most travel insurance policies do not have this. So most likely, if your cruise line is canceling or changing your ports of call, you're not going to get reimbursed from your travel insurance policy, and just go and enjoy your cruise the best you can. Yes, the weather might not be exactly what you wanted. You may be going to Canada instead of the Caribbean, but you know what? Even a bad day on a cruise ship without bad weather is better than a good day at home. So go enjoy your cruise and just have a good time. Okay, what if the cruise line delays your return home? For instance, you're already down in the Caribbean and now there's a hurricane headed up the east coast of the United States. So now your ship has to stay at sea an extra few days because you physically can't get back into port without traveling through the hurricane. This has actually happened to me, and my travel insurance absolutely covered it. As a matter of fact, I had my travel insurance and my flights booked directly through Carnival, and it was one of the few times that I booked my stuff directly with Carnival, and I was so glad I did, because while other people had to wait until we got back to New Orleans and then try and worry about getting their flights, because I booked through Carnival on the last day before we finally got back into port 4 days late, the information statement had my tickets for my flight in their hand, ready to go. I didn't have to do anything. Now, if you buy your travel insurance from somebody other than Carnival, most likely you're going to have to make your arrangements to get home on your own, and then your travel insurance will reimburse you the cost of what it took to get home, or a percentage of it depending on your policy. Again, you're going to want to check with your travel insurance, find out what they offer before you buy it. InsureMyTrip.com is a great resource because they will literally list all the different insurance policies and tell you in plain English what each one covers. So it's a great resource even if you don't purchase it directly through them. I will put a link to them down in our description so that if you're thinking about travel insurance, you have a great resource there to get it. I strongly recommend travel insurance. And if you're traveling during hurricane season, please be safe out there, have safe travels. And if you live in a hurricane path and you're told to evacuate, please do what they're telling you, evacuate. Don't take the chances. Don't put your life at risk, and don't put a first responder's life at risk who may have to come save you. So please do what your city officials tell you and be safe, and I'll see you all on the next video.